back to my YouTube channel. My name's Katie, I'm a full-time artist, and I'm really excited about today's video because I have got a huge amount of art supplies that I want to show you. So as you can see from the title of the video, this is all from auctions. So we bought these as lots on an auction site. We got these from Cardiff City Auctions, and I thought it'd be really fun to go through what I bought and also compare to how much it would be RRP. I think some of these came from art shops that were clearing out old stock perhaps, because they definitely have like older packaging. These aren't like brand new, but they're definitely worth a lot more money than I paid for them, and I can't wait to dive in and show you. So obviously different auction houses have different ways of working, and we bought this online, so we didn't have to go to an auction house and actually put up your paper and do the hammer thing. This was online, which makes it really accessible and much easier to do, because obviously Cardiff is a long way from here, but it does mean that you then have to organise shipping, so that's another thing to factor in, and I'm not going to include the shipping costs in my final tallies. I'm just going to compare the RRP with what we bought these lots for. Now, I don't know much about auction sites, and so I recruited my dad, who is an expert, and so he helped me to bid on these items and secure the lots, because I find that I get panicky over eBay when you have to bid last minute, so I left it to the expert in his capable hands, and this is what we won. So at this specific auction, there were quite a few different art lots, and I looked through them. It's definitely worth zooming in and seeing what's included. Sometimes things are hidden under other things, so it's not always easy, but I do recommend having a look through and deciding on your maximum budget before you obviously make your bids. So in this first lot, there are a few things that I wasn't that interested in, but there were elements that I really was, so you kind of sometimes have to take the good with the bad. The first one is this rolling ruler. This is from the brand High Tech. I presume this is for drawing like very precise graphics, so you can do like parallel lines, because there's specific holes that you can put your pencil in and then you can like roll it down. This looks very 80s to me, and it's not something that I'm going to use because I don't generally use graphite, and I certainly don't use any straight lines in my work. We also got this little paintbrush. This is a size 9, so I will get use out of this, but there's no branding on that one. And there was also this tray, this red tray. It's just an office product where you can put your little tools and organise it, but not really my aesthetic, so I won't be using that either. And then we get on to the fun stuff. So I saw that there was this tin of 40 Neocolor wands. Now, as you know, I love using my Neocolors, but I use the Neocolor 2s, and Neocolor 1 isn't something that I've dabbled in. But you'll know if you've seen my work, I rarely add water to my Neocolors, so I think I'll get a lot of use out of these. The only thing with buying from auction is obviously it won't be brand new products, necessarily. It might be, but this one definitely wasn't. So it's not a full tin, but there are 27 shades in here, so a really good range. There's definitely some here that I know I'll use. There's my favourite, which is the olive and dark olive. I can see that there, and also the light cobalt blue. And most of them are perfect. There's a couple with broken nibs, but I'm really chuffed with this, and it's really satisfying seeing them all sharpened because mine are all blunt, and obviously I can sharpen them, but I'm really excited to try these Neocolor ones and give them a go. In that same lot we got some more Caran products, so I really love using Caran, and it's definitely a brand that I was looking out for when I was looking on these lots, and you'll see some other familiar names as well. So next up is this set of 40 Classicolor watercolor pencils. Again, I haven't ever used these. You'll know that I usually use Derwent Inktense for my watercolor pencils. So I'll probably pass these on, but I mean, look how satisfying that is. I love seeing coloured pencils all laid out in a rainbow like this. Lots of greens, lots of really lovely neutral shades, and then obviously you've got your brighter colours at this end. They're all really sharpened, really good condition. This definitely does look brand new, and they haven't been used before. So really satisfying to see, but for me, I don't use watercolour pencils very much, but I think that this would be a really good set if you were looking into it. Then we've got some pastels. Now there's quite a lot of pastels in this set, so that's quite exciting because it's a medium that I don't necessarily use. These are from Derwent, so I can tell this is older because the logo is different. Everything's a little bit dusty, and so that's why I wonder if it's come from like an old stock room. But these are pastel blocks, and it does come in a tin. I can tell that this is also on... Oh wow, okay, this is really interesting because they look just like the Inktense, the smaller Inktense blocks, but these are soft pastels. So like I said, These are unused. The packaging has been opened and there's just a couple that have broken, so not too bad. But these look really similar to the Derwent Inktense blocks, but they are soft pastels. I expect that you can still mix water with them, but they won't be as intense in terms of their vibrancy and colour. But I'm still really looking forward to swatching these. There's a huge range of colours here, and I can see that the RRP was $24.95. I reckon that these would be worth a lot more nowadays as well, but I'm looking forward to trying these out. And now this product I hadn't ever heard of, but it really reminds me of the Nia colours. So these are from Derwent again, and these are art bars. Now I did look these up and I think these are a really old product, and I feel like it is because of the design of the packaging as well. You get 72 in here, which is a huge amount, and there are 2 layers. They're laid out in a really funky way, I guess, to make it fit this packaging. But like I said, there's a layer underneath. So we've got our more muted shades there and the brighter ones on the top. And with all these products, I'm going to show some swatching, but they feel like Nia colours. I am going to see how they feel when I put down them on the page and also see how they react with water. But the front says that they are water-soluble wax, so that's basically how they describe the Nia Colour 2 pastels. So I'm interested to see how they compare, because there's a lot of different shades here that I can see that I don't have in Nia Colours. So it'll be interesting to see the differences between those and the Nia Colour 2s, and also how they blend together. Okay, on to our last lot. This is lot 3. And there's definitely a lot more variety in this one, so I'm excited to share it with you. First up, we've got these Sennelier soft pastels. Now, I've used Sennelier oil pastels before and I was really impressed, but I've never used the soft pastels before. Now, this is a very dirty box. I feel like these have been in a storage room for a very long time because they have broken. You can see in the close-ups here how they don't look brand new, that's for sure. The structure looks a little bit compromised, so I'm not sure how they'll swatch. But it's still cool to see them, and I definitely think these are older, so I don't know how they'll hold up. But it's good to try, and this really wasn't why I was buying that lot for, so it's kind of just an extra bonus. Sometimes you won't know what you're getting in the lot, because sometimes things are hidden under boxes and things. Some auctions will try and lay everything out, but it's not always possible, so you might end up with some little bonus goodies. Next up, I'm really excited to try this. This is Acryl Gouache. So I love using gouache. You'll know on my channel I use it quite a lot for my base layers, but I tend to use the traditional gouache, which is water soluble. Acryl gouache has definitely become more popular recently, and in recent years I've seen acrylic gouache used by a lot of artists, but it's not something I've dabbled in. So this is by the brand Pentel. I see a lot of people use Holbein and other brands, but I didn't know that Pentel did them, and obviously this is an older product, so it's cool to see that it was around even then, although I don't know when this was out. There are 15 tubes, so 14 colours and 2 white, and they come in these kind of rectangular tubes. I'm just trying to see what size they are. They're 11mm, so they're not huge tubes, but a really nice range of colours. You've got some blues, some yellows, some reds and browns, and then obviously the 2 white. There's also 1 purple there. But I think this will be really interesting to use to see how it works, and I feel like I'd have to get used to using it because I'm so used to gouache and re-wetting it on my palette, which you can't do with these. Next up, we have some Caran acrylic. So these are extra fine iridescent colours. So I don't usually use these iridescent colours, I tend to just use the matte normal ones. So there are 8 colours in here, like iridescent blue, iridescent violet, iridescent scarlet, emerald green, bronze, silver, gold. They're quite big, they're definitely bigger than the other ones. I'm not going to open this box because I'll pass this on, but I thought it was really cool that they do have this set, and I think if you are looking for those shades, this would be really handy. But you can't tell in the photo that it was iridescent. It could have been other colours, in which case that would have been really handy for my work anyway. Okay, next up we've got some more gouache. Now, Pebeo is a brand that I've heard of before. I buy the Pebeo white or Pebeo white gouache in the huge tube because I go through white gouache really quickly. So this is definitely a brand I know of, and I do really like the consistency of the white. And this obviously comes with 10 tubes. They're 20mm, so a good size. It also comes with a brush, which is cool. And yeah, I think I'll get plenty of use out of this with my other gouache. I'm not brand specific. I tend to use Winsor & Newton or De La Rowney, and I'll mix them up together. So it'll be interesting to see how these compare, because I know Pebeo is definitely a more affordable brand than those two that I usually use. Next up, we've got some more soft pastels. These are by a brand I don't know. These are called Toison d'Or. I'm totally going to be butchering that, but there are 48. Actually, I don't think that's the brand name. This is a Koh-In-Noor brand, so I do know that brand, but I don't know this. There are 48 pastels in here. Now, to me, these don't look as good of quality as the Derwent ones, and certainly not as the Faber-Castell ones. Let's open it up. But this definitely, to me, feels more like student-grade packaging. So it comes in a cardboard box, so definitely not the same as the mahogany one, but you're obviously going to be paying a lot less. There's a really nice colour range in here, but there's a lot of really bright, colourful shades in here that aren't really my style. There are a few neutrals and more muted tones, but mostly I can see really bright ones, so I'm not sure I'll get much use out of this. But obviously if you are buying it at auction, you're not going to have control of what you're buying. You can't just buy, it's rare that you'd get just one of everything. It's more likely that you'll get multiple things, especially when you're buying more lots anyway. Okay, next up is some Liquitex Acrylic, and I'm really excited about this because I have some Liquitex paint pens, but I've never tried the Liquitex acrylic paint in the tubes. So this is an introductory set. Again, I can tell by the design of the box that this is quite old, maybe like from the 80s. But this contains 8 22ml tubes. And it looks like this, so you get 2 brushes. You also get some gloss medium varnish, which is cool. So here are the colours. Again, bright ones, but you can obviously mix them up. And like I said, I've not used Liquitex acrylic tubes before because of the cost. I always use the De La Rowney System 3 acrylic paint when I do use acrylic, just because it's more affordable, and I find Liquitex is that higher price point. So I'll be able to compare those, and I think that will be interesting. This is brand new, it's still sealed, so I can see that it's not being used. And I do wonder if the paint will have changed. Obviously it's been in storage for quite a long time, so I think it will be okay because they are still sealed, whereas if they'd been opened, then they might not be so good. Okay, and last up in that lot is this brand of Rembrandt Professional Aquarelle pencils. Now, I would say this one is similar to the Faber-Castell, but it definitely feels heavier, so let's take it out of the box and we'll have a look. So it's another mahogany wood box, again with the gold hardware, but slightly different style. And this is the, like I said, the Lyra Fine Art Rembrandt Professional Aquarelle. So here we go, here's another multi-layer, very satisfying look at the pencils. Interestingly, these are wooden, so you've just got the colours along the bottom just to show the shades. And again, really lovely shade range. It definitely feels like there's a few more oranges and reds in this set in comparison to the polychromos. And they also feel and look a bit thicker. The polychromos are thinner pencils, whereas these look a little bit more chunky. And again, Lyra is a brand I have heard of, but I hadn't thought about getting their pencils before. Now, these are Aquarelle, so they are water-soluble, whereas the polychromos aren't. So this is a really big set of water-soluble pencils, if that's what you're into. And again, I will swatch some of them, but if you want to see a full swatching video, then I can do that too. It's really satisfying to see. I can see there's a few extra bits behind here as well. We've got a couple of paintbrushes, there's another one at the back, but I would say these are in really good condition. I'd actually say that the presentation isn't as good as the polychromos because they're in plastic trays, but it's still really cool to see it on that dual shelf, and again, handy when you're at your desk and you're trying to find a specific shade because they're all laid out really neatly. So let's talk about price for this lot. All of that, including the Lyra pencils, I've put here on the screen. So I tried to find the RRP for the products if they're available now. If they're not available now, then I've tried to find a like-for-like comparison from the same brands. So this is what you would pay for all of those items if you were to buy them brand new. And we paid £90 for this lot. So I think that's the best deal. I think that's such a huge saving. Obviously, you're getting all of these different materials to try. And I do think that that one had a really good range of the acrylic gouache, you've got the soft pastels and the Derwent Art Bars, and obviously the water-soluble pencils. So I think that was a really good one to try a lot of different things. And for only £90, considering this is how much it would be full cost, I think that's an absolute bargain. So the next lot which we bid on were 2 sets of boxes, like really lovely wooden display boxes by Faber-Castell. Now the first lot, and I will put some overlays here so you can see, is this beautiful set of 100 pastels. These are definitely in better condition than the Derwent ones. Obviously they've been sandwiched together in this foam and really nice and safe in this wooden display box. It's a really lovely mahogany colour with gold hardware, and look at that gorgeous rainbow display. I think this is so satisfying to see. Obviously it's not the most practical in terms of use and you would have to store it, but it does fold down quite nicely and it's quite thin, so it could like slot underneath a desk perhaps. None of these are broken, so I'm really impressed with that, and I just think it's really satisfying to see all the colours. Now obviously I don't usually buy sets of things, I usually buy things open stock, but I do think it's helpful with like soft pastels and things if you can get a discount on like a multi-set, because soft pastels I feel like are used for blending and so it's kind of helpful to have more colours. Then definitely looking at auction is a really good bet. Next up in that lot is something that I'm super excited about, and that is the Polychromos pencils. So when I was looking at pencils, I started with my Prismacolors and then I moved on to luminants, and I'm slowly building up my collection of luminants through open stock. But Polychromos was one of those brands that I was really interested in, and it was basically between that and the luminants, and I wasn't sure which was right for me. So I've never tried the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and here I have got, again, the mahogany display set. This is the set of 100. Now, again, I'll put an overlay on here, but this is very satisfying to see because it does come in a multi-layer and you can see all of those beautiful colours laid out like that. I mean, how can you not fall in love with art supplies when it looks like this? This would definitely be a showstopper on the desk. Again, you'll have to store it, but it does fold down neatly. And I do feel like being able to see all the colours like this is really handy to have. It will just take up a lot of space on your desk when you do have it open. These are all in immaculate condition. I can see that they're all brand new. All of the leads are super sharp and it's just so satisfying to see them like this. There's a huge amount of browns, greens and blues. Not a huge amount of yellows, but definitely a wide variety of colours and lots of neutrals, which is definitely what I would use. I won't be able to swatch all of these in this video, but do let me know if you do want a swatching video to be able to see them and want to know my thoughts on how they work, how they feel and how they compare to like my luminants or my Prismacolors. I'd be more than happy to film that video, so just let me know down below in the comments. So let's talk about pricing for this lot. So here is the overall price for the set of 100 pastels and the set of 100 Polychromos pencils. We did pay a little bit more for this one because obviously they were in high demand. You're obviously bidding against other people who have also done their reset. So for these two we paid £130. So set against the RRP, I still think that's a really good saving, and especially if you are into your pencils and you want to have that beautiful display, I do think it's definitely worth it, and I'm excited to try them out. So I have all of these art supplies like distributed around me, and like I said, I'm not going to swatch all of these different things because we would be here for literally hours. But do let me know down below in the comments if you'd like to see any specific swatching videos and what you thought of this video. I think buying at auction was a really fun experience and definitely saved a lot of money, especially if you're wanting to build up your art supplies and try different things. You've also got that fun element of not necessarily knowing what they're going to be like, and they won't always open the boxes, so you don't always know what you're getting. I had a really fun time with this one, so I hope you enjoyed it, and a huge thank you to my dad for using his expertise on helping me get these goods. A huge thank you for watching. I will see you next Sunday in my new YouTube video. See you later.